those, how long do you have to have a policy in place to make it valuable?
It grows over time.
Mm-hmm.
With most policies, you can't start borrowing until after the second or third year.
Mm-hmm.
Paid into it enough,
Mm-hmm.
like you said, to really have anything in there. But it will all come with an illustration to show you how much is available to you every year.
Okay.
And you can always add more so that you can have more available.
Okay. So tell people a little bit about how they can get in touch with you about getting so some of the services that you provide in terms of getting quotes and things like that.
Well, we do free quotes, so you can reach out to me if you're listening in and you're on the online. You can just put it in the chat that you're interested in a free quote. I'd be happy to get that over to you. If you're not online and not actually able to chat with us, you can reach me at lifeprotectiongroup.info. And you can put in a request there.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And of course, you can always message us through our social media, of course. So what are some of the last tips that you want to provide kind of overall to lead people to consider this? Because, again, I think a lot of people look at it, life insurance as well. That's something I can do later. It's not something I need to do right now.
Right.
But what's some of the biggest takeaways of taking action on that right now?
I think the biggest thing that people need to understand is life insurance is not just about dying and death. Mm-hmm. You know, it is there. There are policies available that provide a living benefit. There are policies that even give you scholarships for your children to go to school. They have legal services built into the policy, all of that as part of it. So it's all about having the knowledge about what life insurance really is all about, and not just having that knowledge, but actually utilizing it. Because so many times, people say knowledge is power.
Yeah.
It is powerful if you use it. But if you just keep it and you don't do anything with it, then, you might as well not have it.
Now speak a little bit from your real estate brain.
Okay.
So again, like I stated earlier, a lot of people have passed along wealth and assets through real estate, through, Big Mama's house or the land she owned, things like that. How can people leverage some of that to maintain these assets and make them valuable for future generations?
So there are various strategies that you can use for that. So when you incorporate your life insurance into your estate plans, you can have a better tax advantage and you can avoid the uncertainty that's associated with the traditional stock and investing. So some of those ways would be to maximize like your IRA, your Social Security, pension that's no longer there, or the annuity. And building that, like I said, into the estate planning portion of it.
Okay. And what about those that are looking to acquire real estate to pass along? Are we still in a market where the buyer is king, or are we in a seller's market?
Oh, wow. Right now, I would say we're definitely in a seller's market. The listings are plentiful, but they are going quick. They are definitely going quick. You can get a property at a decent rate. I don't know how I'm trying to. Right, because okay, so the properties are plentiful. There aren't as many lower cost properties now because we're out of that whole foreclosure and investors just, gung-ho everywhere. They're still there, but just not the same.
The quality is not the same.
You saw some starter homes?
No, the quality is not the same.
At all. Right.
No. So what you could buy, and again, I'll put on my real estate hat a little bit. So what you could buy when we started working together in 2011 versus what you can buy now.
Oh my goodness,
is vastly different. What someone would buy for $30,000 then, and what you buy for $30,000 now, you might as well just go ahead and bring the match to the closing.
Right,
you need to start from scratch.
Yeah,
it's nothing, and you don't even see them at that price point anymore.
No, you don't.
I don't even like to even set the expectation that
they're out there.
Right.
The only way to really get those properties now is if you are a very savvy investor and you have someone who's going to the courthouse, finding out who's finding out who's foreclosing and just trying to get it like that.
Yeah.
The sad part about that is a lot of people, if they don't have representation on the seller side, they get caught up and they really just get done dirty.
Yeah, they give it away.
They give it away because they don't know.
Yeah.
And they're scared and nervous about the process.
Is there any investor tips that you can provide for new investors? What's the first thing you need to be knowledgeable in?
Wow. That is a loaded question.
Isn't it? And I know that because we deal with it.
Yes. So for new investors, really, I'm going to say they really need to be educated.
Do the research.
Do the research. Definitely have an agent there to help guide you along the way because, as you know, we have investors that they come to us, they have never had an agent. And so by the time they come to us, they've purchased a property, but they have no clue of what to do next, what's involved, or how to move forward. And so it just makes it really difficult when they don't have an understanding because sometimes they don't want to hear what you have to say because as the agent, you're telling them, listen, there's a few things you need to handle before you do anything, before you move on to anything else. And then if they don't listen to that, it can really just throw you for a loop. And as the agent, it can just make you feel like pulling your hair out.
Do you consider an investor if they're not using cash? Like, is your return great enough to consider yourself an investor if you're using a loan? Because I say, and I ask that because we've worked with investors that are using loans, so their profit margin is very thin because they're paying back a bank as well as trying to make money off of a cash property. Is that what you consider an investor?
I think it depends on the loan type. Now, if they're using hard money, it's still a loan, but the difference is there are expectations with that hard money. Like they typically give them enough for the renovation and everything. So they know that anything they make over that money is there, solid. If they do traditional lending, it's so many tricks to that because typically with traditional lending they can't be, you have to be owner occupied if it's a FHA. Definitely can't do VA as an investor. So the only thing they have is conventional, and they have to bring so much money to the table that, like you said, it takes away from the whole point of it being an investment.
Right, yeah. I think the best thing for investors to do is save.
Absolutely.
Save and do your research first. Jumping into properties because they're cheap and you happen to qualify for a loan doesn't make you an investor. You got to research the market a little bit to understand the profit margins of it all and understanding what it takes to make a property valuable, because buying a cheap property doesn't make it valuable.
Right.
It's the outcome of it all that makes it worthwhile.
And the area. They have to be so careful because you can buy a cheap property, but if it's in a bad area that is not being renovated, not being
gentrified,
regentrified, then you're just buying a
cheap property
that's cheap.
yeah. And I think people have that misconception as well that, it's cheap, I can renovate it. Well, it doesn't quite work that way because you're not always necessarily renovating into equity.
Right.
Right. Now, there is some upside to it, for the owner occupant, but we can talk about that another day.
Yes. So, because we are almost out of time.
So. Well, Jamie, we want to thank you so much for
coming.
Thank
you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
And again, do you have time on your calendar to come back and finish this conversation?
I sure do.
Because I have some more questions in the real estate realm that I'd like to ask as well. So
we'll do a real estate one.
Okay,
yeah,
sounds
that's what I was thinking.
I like that.
Yeah. Possibly let's do a real estate
talk
one.
2 hours on that.
Yes,
that's cool though. That's cool. Because we're almost out of time, so I don't want you to start a new a question that's juicy, and you know, it's like, oh man,
right?
You know, so you know, we gotta get these shout outs real quick. So in my Monday voice, Monday night is all the way right as we proceed to give you what you need at Smash Mouth FM. It's a full evening of talk, love, and soul for the happy hour crowd, the lovers, the 9-to-5ers, and everyone else in between. It's grown, it's informative, and most importantly, it's entertaining. So from 7-ish to 8 p.m., you have Mommies Off Duty. You have Hey Love from 8 to 9. Tonight's guest DJ is Love Deluxe.
Okay.
He's a very, very, very nice voice, very soothing. And then you have Blue Monday from 9 to 11 p.m. So follow through and get a piece with Mommies Off Duty, Hey Love, and Blue Monday.
All right. And as always, you can find us on social media at Mommies Off Duty at Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Tumblr. You can email us at mommiesoffduty@gmail.com if for some reason you want to send us a message. And as always, interact with us online. We love to see your feedback.
Yes, and so apparently I've gotten a couple of messages in the last few minutes that we have feedback. So we do apologize for
y'all know how feedback. We do. Y'all know it's never perfect.
You know, it's been a while. Be glad we on. We ain't been on in a while.
Right. Well, look, you can always listen back to us because typically the recorded version has no feedback.
Yes,
it's just the live one.
Yes.
So go to Spreaker or go back to the Mixler app or something like that, and hopefully it clears it up for you.
It's the weirdest thing.
Some of those good gems.
Yeah, it's the weirdest thing. Whoever knows.
Yes. But again, thank you all for listening. Thank you for being patient with us. We look forward to talking to you all next week.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. Awesome. Have a good one.
All right. Good night.
Night.